Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is sort of jump a little bit between the front and the back. So what I'm going to do is holding Control and Alt here, I'm just going to unmask out this little area here below the nose, and I'm just going to grab my clay buildup, just kind of mark out that area for now. Okay, same thing with this lip, I'm going to push it out just a little bit more. Alright, I'm going to hold Control here and just click, or I'm sorry, drag off so that we have that. So let's kind of give ourselves more of an even kind of like a face that's sort of a little flatter here. So I'm going to grab my Move Topology brush and again pull this all forward. And I'm just really just flattening this out. And pull that chin out just a little bit. Push this in, pull that forward out, pull this all up. So again, I'm just kind of smoothing all of this out. Okay. So we have some of our basic markers still there. Okay. The next thing I want to do is, again, I'm going to look at this as where the kind of key points are. So if we draw back in on this and I hold Control here, from the corner of the eye down to here is sort of our major planes, right, of our face. You know, here's our eye, our section of our eye area, right? Here's our nose, here's our mouth, here's where the cliff of that upper lip goes, right? So once we have a very basic generic shape going on, oops, let's zoom in again on that. I'm always going to be a little bit tweaking here. So for any kind of weirdness, let's again give ourselves a little bit better shape here, because the high point is actually to the back of the head over here. So we want to make sure that it's smooth up to this sort of high point here. Alright, so I'm just going to again give myself a little bit more space. Just kind of tweaking that a little bit more. We might have to pull that hairline down a little bit again, but just kind of giving ourselves a good overall shape. And don't worry, we're going to go in with this Shift Smooth tool and smooth all this stuff out so it won't look so weird on the side. We're going to have a whole section just on the side. Alright, so let's give them some eyeballs. So I'm just going to go to Subtool, and I'm going to append a sphere. And I'll jump down to my PM3D here. And if you click on Scale here or hit E, and you click on these middle circles, you can actually see the different options. So the farthest one, let's hide this for a second. We'll uniform scale it. Something like that. And then the move, if you click on the middle, you can see that kind of moves it all around. So really what I'm trying to do here is, oops, let's make sure that we're, and I just click off to the side to drag it. So let's click on this middle guy, just sort of move him in place. Same thing here. Just click away. You can actually click on these little guys too and sort of move them. If you hold Control, you can also move that over here. There we go. It's pretty good. Gives us a place to sort of like a starting point for an eyeball. And then all I'm going to do is hit Duplicate. And I'm going to move the new guy over on this side. Now, I'm going to actually want to kind of flatten these both out. So what you can do is you can merge down and hit OK, and it'll merge them down to the same layer. And what's nice about that is now we can just kind of go in and, you know, with our clay buildup brush, and I have extra symmetry, and we can just kind of create eyeballs just to kind of mark, you know, like where we're going to go. Alright, so now we have eyes that are going to help us sort of really structure out or build out this area. Make sure that's on too. So at this point, I want to go back in, holding control, and just redraw in all those lines. Alright? So for example, we want our mouth to be about to the center of the eye, and we have that arch. We're looking for that arch in here. And again, this is just an exercise, so if you're struggling or yours isn't perfect, just go back and start over again. Okay, so we're just marking out these areas.
I'm going to connect this to dot.
Okay, so what I want to do now is I really want to focus on just sort of justifying or really working out the planes of the eyebrow area. So what I'm going to do is, holding control here, I'm going to really just extend this line here. And I'm just going to really focus on that. So I'm going to hold control and alt here and just clean this up so you can kind of see what I'm visualizing in my head. And then what I want to do is just accentuate this area here. And so what we get is we sort of get, and where those eyes sort of, that center eye line lines up. You know, this is sort of where your pupils would be. We're sort of looking at the essentially the planes of where the head would go. So, you know, where the forehead would come out, and, you know, where this would sort of dip in to sort of form that area. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm just going to scroll off, so we're looking at our face again. Grab my Move Topology tool. Give myself a little bit more space on the side of the eye here. Okay. And then keeping in mind those lines that we had before, which was really just sort of this right here. You know, kind of emulating that area. What I'm going to do is, let me just go ahead and just sort of mark in where that eyebrow section is. I'm going to grab my clay buildup tool. Just add a little bit of geo, sort of wrapping above where the eyebrow, or I'm going to hold shift to smooth this in. Because eventually what we're going to do is we're going to bring an eyelid in just below that. But not until we have a little more geometry. Alright? And so this is sort of that fat area. So let's do the same here. Let's kind of block this out. And that's going to be, again, where we kind of have our forehead. So let's grab our Move Topology tool. Sort of pull that out a little bit. Here, I'm going to push that in. And the eyebrow actually sits above, just slightly above this ridge. So, again, grab your clay buildup tool. And just kind of give him like an angry eyebrow. I'm going to hold control here, just kind of get rid of that. Something like this. Okay. Another tool that is the Trim Dynamics. So I'm just going to kind of go in here, sort of flatten out this area so we can see that a bit better. Same thing up here. Again, I'm just trying to accentuate where those planes are. Grab my clay buildup brush. I'm just sort of slightly marking where my nose would be. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is sort of look at these cheekbones. It's actually the widest part of the head. So grab your clay buildup tool, and we want to wrap our cheekbone from all the way behind the head up till the front. So something like this. And I'm just going to smooth that out. Again, I'm just sort of accentuating that area. Don't worry about your profile or the other views just yet. We only care about the front for now. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, but notice where I end the cheekbone, just below the nose.